Hey, Las Vegas, thanks for joining us here on Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. I'm your host, Trish Williams.
And I'm your co-host, Tiana Carroll.
Yes, and Tiana, we have market updates to talk about.
We do. This entire show today is going to be about the market, what's going on, and letting everybody know what that looks like in real time, especially for Las Vegas. We'll touch some national stuff, but we're going to hone in on our local market.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for watching. If you're watching our show, like, comment, share, tell your friends about us. Tune in every Thursday. We post a new show every Thursday morning. We're keeping you updated on what's happening. Everybody's seeing crazy news headlines. There's a lot of panic.
There's a lot of panic. Yesterday, all over every news source, it was the housing market's going down, housing market's going down, housing market's going down. So they're fueling the fans and the flames, which is nice because then I'm having people calling me going, Tiana, what's happening? Are we crashing? Oh, no. Crash might be a strong word. I think deceleration might be a better term that we could use.
Right, and we're going to dig into that right now too, because again, people need to be savvy about what's going on right now and understand that we are in a shift and not act like we're not. Yet, I think that it's a very bad thing for people to be panicked and reacting on panic right now as well too, because they can make we all know you can make some very bad decisions.
Listen, yesterday I thought I lost one of my pets and I was freaking out. I couldn't find him anywhere and I panicked and I was making bad decisions. I was running around my neighborhood like a chicken with my head cut off. So that was just me with an animal. I can only imagine how people would react with their largest investment.
Right, absolutely. So let's get into this.
Okay. Well, let's talk market numbers first so we can have a jumping off point, right? Because last week we were about just over 4,000 new homes on the market, and now this week we're at almost 5,000. We're at 4,816 single family homes on the market. So we're seeing an increase in inventory, right?
Yes.
But of those, we're also seeing a decrease in price. And I think that's going to be something that we really need to discuss today, because this week we had 1,249 price reductions.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just to give you guys, if you have not been following us for quite a while, to give you an idea of where we were on price reductions earlier in the year, around February or March this year, we were hovering around 200.
Right.
And price reductions for the week. So we're up by 1,000 or more?
Yeah. In a season.
In a week. And we're talking 7 days price reductions. That is certainly a sign of panic and reaction.
Well, yeah, and it really speaks to what is happening. And so the feds are pumping the brakes and slowing everything down with raising those interests, which they need to, because we need to stabilize, right? So that's happening. And then now I think we're at a point, though, where our sellers are no longer realistic in the market. They want last year's selling frenzy or even the beginning of spring selling frenzy, which is something that's not available at this time in the market.
Right. And this is something that, as realtors, when we're sitting at the table with the seller and we're going over their prices, it's a struggle right now.
Right. Because they have the mindset that this is the seller's market and they're getting 50 grand over list price regardless. And that's not the case anymore.
Absolutely. And I've had several occasions. I just spoke with the seller a few days ago where I'm sitting there, I'm going over the comps, and he says, no, I want, and he said his price, it was almost $100,000 over the comparables. And I was like, a few months ago, this would have worked. It might not have came in at that price.
Right.
But it wouldn't have stopped buyers from buying.
Right.
But I'm going to give you a warning right now. If we did move forward with this listing at this price, you're not getting any showings. You're not getting any offers. It's not going to happen. We are not in that market anymore. And the buyers know.
The buyers do know, because they're incredibly savvy on what's going on, because they're the ones who have been on the short end of the stick lately, right? So they feel like they're being taken advantage of. I've had buyers when we were making price or making offers way over list price and paying transfer tax and CIC resales and doing everything, bending over backwards, giving 60-day leasebacks, whatever it took to get into contract at one point, they felt like they were being used, right? And now the buyers coming into the market feel like, okay, you know, it's not as bad anymore, and we don't want that. And so you have two extreme mindsets that are playing in the market right now, at least locally, right? You have your buyers who know that interest rates are going up, that's affecting their buying power. They're having to, you know, go maybe step down a notch to the lower price level in order to still get that $1,800 to $2,500 a month mortgage in their price range or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you have sellers who still think like, well, my neighbor sold and got 75 grand over list price last year, so I want 125 this year. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, we are not going up by $20,000 a month in appreciation anymore.
No, we're not. And we're still healthy, right? Vegas, the whole Southwest, right? You're getting Salt Lake, Phoenix, Las Vegas. We are nationally doing great. We have great appreciation, what have you, but it's getting to the point now where the homes are just overvalued.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you think about it, $325,000 home, for instance, you're looking at about a $2,400 to $2,500 a month payment. With the rates the way that they are right now,
that's not even the national medium home price range, not even in Nevada. Like nationally, it's $407,000 for just your standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Vegas. I mean, nationally. In Vegas, we're just a hair under that, but we used to be like an inexpensive city, low-cost housing, come see us. That's not the case anymore. We're climbing up to that national average, creeping up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, you know, it's making buyers say, like, does this really make sense for me to own a home right now with the way prices are? I mean, we know the answer, yes, right?
The answer is yes, 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 and yes.
Well, the reason why is one of the other things we were talking about a little bit before the show that I've seen, which I'm a little wary of, is I'm seeing that the investors that are buying corporate rentals, there's a couple big ones that have been in the market really strongly over the last couple years.
Yeah.
They haven't stopped buying.
They haven't. And usually when an investor changes their tactics, that's a good indicator of what's happening in the market. And even though we are going through the shift, the investors are still sharks out there. They want everything. Greedy.
Yeah, exactly. And they're buying, so they've changed a little bit of what they're buying because they were buying anything.
Anything, right?
Anything. Now they're buying new, turnkey, move-in ready. They do nothing to it. It's ready to go. They can throw a renter in there. But they're still buying and they're still paying a good price. I'm sure they have a buy box, you know, because I get some offers from them in some locations, and some locations I get nothing from them at all.
Right.
So, you know, whatever is in their buy box. But the fact that they haven't slowed down, what makes me a little bit weary about that is regular buyers, the traditional buyers, the first-time buyers, the homeowners have backed off and slowed down a little bit.
Yes.
And these people have not. And they're buying for the intention of corporate-owned rentals, to have rentals. And I feel like, you know, it's just like any realtor. During a shift, it's your opportunity. Only the strong survive. It's your opportunity to gain market share. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But if you keep at it during that time, you can gain market share. And I feel like that's what's going on with these corporate rentals. They're like, you know, we know it'll come back regardless.
Well, that's exactly it. They know that it is the finances, that it can be a long-term hold. There's ways to make money in real estate. And so they're very versed. Now, your first-time home buyers or somebody who's only done maybe 1 or 2 transactions, they're the ones who are hesitant, dragging their feet. Oh, is now a good time to buy? Should I buy now? Yes, you should have bought yesterday, but here we are today. Let's buy today, because that's the quickest way to any wealth. And I met a lovely marketing young lady at a mixer event this week, and she's sweet, she's cute, she's young, you know, and she was talking about, she goes, well, you know, I'm a millennial and I just want to rent and then move to a different city and then rent and move to a different city and then rent. And I'm like, you're not doing yourself anything, right? The general wealth of a homeowner is almost 20 times that of a renter.
Absolutely.
So rent, and then when you move, rent it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you have to get in the market. You have to put a foothold in. Otherwise, there's going to be a time where you can't get into this market.
Absolutely. And then you're stuck at always being a renter. You'll come at some point in your life where you're just like,
A
I
perpetual
really wish I
renter.
would have owned a home. You look
Right.
back, and we always look behind us and say, I wish I would have did this then.
Yeah, and it's changing a little bit too. Now, I did read an interesting article this week talking about, and it had a catchy clickbait tagline, right? Like what did it say? The boomer trend that millennials are jumping on. And it was basically saying that the millennials now are going, 2 years ago, we're like, we're not going to buy. But now we're going to buy. And we're moving more into suburban. We don't want to be in the city and walking distance to, shops and restaurants and stuff the way we used to. We want the investment.
We made our whole city around that because
Yeah.
they loved it.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's still very prevalent. I just had a meeting with an investor yesterday about buying up in the water district because he likes the fact that he wants to be 1 mile from all of the restaurants and bars and stuff. And with things like Cadence moving in and they're doing the downtown restoration and whatever, he believes he's seen that in other markets that he's purchased in Arkansas and Nebraska. And he's like, I'm seeing the exact same thing happen downtown Henderson. I want to buy up. And I'm like, great, let's buy up. But then we go back to corporate versus owner occupied. Now, I'm strong that I think owner occupancy is so important for a healthy economy in our valley. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about it?
Absolutely. I do not want to see a city where corporations are owning all of the housing that people need to live in, because then they control everything. They control your job. They control where your work, your pay, and your rent.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not, I think a home ownership, it's not just because I'm a realtor. I've always thought home ownership is the most important thing for a person, for any individual, any family, anybody that's starting anything in life, because you're owning, you just want to eventually own.
Oh yeah, if I could go back in time, I would have taken my student loans and bought property and let that property appreciate while I went through school and, done all of that, because I wish I would have bought up all of Las Vegas when they were still selling new builds for $110,000.
Absolutely. And that is one thing that I don't think we're ever going to see again. Even with all this activity, everything, I just don't think we're going to ever get back to that. And I hear it. I hear people saying that that's going to happen. Yeah. I don't see it. So we do have some headlines and articles that kind of justify that, of where we're seeing. I know I've been quoting over the last few weeks that if there is an adjustment, which obviously we're in the season of an adjustment, I think it's going to be somewhere around 10 to 20%. And a lot of economists are saying that as well.
Right. Yeah. I've been keeping my ears open to everything that the economists are saying, and they're like, well, nobody has a crystal ball, nobody can say for sure, but it looks like. And I have to kind of agree with what I'm seeing going around the news that, yes, our homes are overvalued right now. And there might be some sort of adjustment in the reality of what it's worth. Do I see it falling down? No, not in the way that people are afraid it's going to fall down.
Right. Well, you can have high prices or high interest rates. It's very challenging to have both unless people are making high wages.
Right.
And they're not.
But they're not. That's the thing, right? The housing market is going up, but everybody's cost of living is going up, but nobody's wages are changing.
Right.
So
and I've been seeing that trickle over. Of course, I don't want to get into all of the economy and inflation issues that we have right now.
Super fun and exciting. Why not?
We could take 2 hours on that, right? But I've been hearing things like people that work in bars saying that there's less people coming in. Less people are out there spending entertainment money right now because the cost of everything else is so high. People are stretched.
From bottled water to gas to flights to
food.
Oh, food. I love food.
Food, we need it, right? Like we need it to survive.
I do it every day.
And it costs a fortune right now. So it is. People are feeling stressed on all ends of things. So yes, we can't have high prices and high interest rates. It's almost like I look at it on one side, what is the Fed trying to do to us right now?
Well, they have to slow it down. And
Yes.
the best way to slow it down is to charge more money to get money.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. But
I mean, I'm not an economist, right? My shoe and clothes collection will attest to that. But
right. Well, it's that, but it's also like what is a few months ago when we're in the height of our crazy market, everything's chaotic, inventory's low. Fed releases an article that there's signs of a housing bubble brewing.
right.
Okay, well, I feel like they're in control of this. Like, whatever they want to happen is what's going to happen, and I don't know. I feel like that's just not a fair
So
playing field.
there are puppet masters at play, and
Yeah.
we don't get to be 100% in making all of our decisions and how things work. If we can't buy a house, we need to get financed, then somebody's got to control how much that interest rate is going to be. And they're trying to curb the inflation as quickly as possible so that we don't see a big bubble or we don't crash or we don't do anything. So, okay, I get it. You know, it changes everything. And for us, we have to navigate those waters, and we have to navigate those waters to the best of our ability for our clients. So we have to keep ourselves apprised on everything that's going on. How's that going to affect? Because I know that everybody who's buying today is kicking themselves for not buying last year or the year before. And they're like, no, it's a pandemic. We're going to wait, you know. So yeah, it's unprecedented. Nobody's navigated these waters before, but keeping yourself educated and apprised on what's going on is going to be your best bet. Or at least find a realtor who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Hint, hint. It's us. It's us.
Absolutely. Good. Right answer. Right answer. So another thing that I think is important to mention about the statistics for this week is 1,419 new listings hit the market. Funny is because a few months ago, that was almost what we had for inventory.
Right, the entire market, not just the week, right?
Right. This is this last 7 days. But 884 of those have gone under contract. This has always been a number that I've watched regardless over, like, just since I've been in real estate, is how many new listings versus how many go under contract every week, because it's such an indicator of market activity.
Yeah.
And it can really, if the number going under contract is less than the numbers listed, then that definitely shows that we have more buyer advantage than
Right.
seller advantage. When it's opposite, it's letting the sellers know, you know what, if this offer that just comes in, this is your only offer, but it's not the greatest, let's wait it out. There's enough homes going into contract that we're going to be okay. But with that number dropping, it's a little more concerning that, you know, maybe we need to jump on whatever offer. If it's decent, you need to move forward with
Right.
it.
If you're in the real estate market and our average days on sale are not even 2 weeks. So if you're in the market, then you have to be in the market. If you're getting offers, you can't keep ignoring them and saying, well, I just want my 100 grand more. You have to play the game. You're selling, this is what your agreed prices are, your jumping off point. Don't list your home for 500 and hope you're going to get 675.
Yes.
That's not reality. And there's a lot of those on the MLS, which drive me nuts because they ruin the numbers, because there's homes on there that have been inflated in price for 365 days, 800
They were inflated
days.
in price when the market was good.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's certainly one of those things that, like, the sellers, you know, when we're talking to them and they say, you know, that I list at this price, but, you know, hoping I'm going to get, you know, 20 offers and get this, it's no, you know, it's just telling them, no, that's not going to happen. Are you serious about selling? Because that's not going to happen right now. And that's not being, it doesn't matter. You could call another realtor. You could say, you know what, I don't like what you're telling me, Trish. I'm going to call another realtor. It's going to tell me what I want to hear. That's not going to change the struggle that you're going to go
Right.
through. It's actually going to make it worse.
Just because they're catering to your uneducated wants doesn't mean that you're going to get the deal that you want. You're just wasting everybody's time and money.
Well, and sometimes they're providing you with misinformation. We've all seen that, those realtors that will go in and tell you, yeah, I could sell it at this price just to get the listing, and then you're hitting with price reductions, or it just sits on the market. You're chasing a changing market rather than staying ahead of it.
Speaking of price reductions, did we talk about the price reductions this week yet?
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either. Now, last week we were just about 800 price reductions, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so this week we're at 1,249 price reductions. So that's telling in itself.
Well, yeah, it is. Why are they reducing? Because it's not selling. No one reduces their price when the house is getting activity.
Right.
Not selling, not showing. It's an indicator that it's just not working out. So yeah, sellers need to be very. It's very important. Again, stay ahead of the market that we're going into. Don't be chasing it behind, because you chase it behind and you're reducing every time because you finally know that you're not selling at this price, but now we're going into another price. It's not, you're putting yourself at more risk of losing more. If you price it right in the beginning, you're going to look attractive. You still have a chance of getting multiple offers. Probably not 30, but you still have a chance of getting a serious committed buyer to move forward with that house if it's priced right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm a big advocate for making sure that houses are priced right when they come on the market. Hell, I even love like a little bit under. Let's do a fire sale and get 10,000 people looking at our house instead of 4,000.
Any market you're in, any market that you're in, buyers want a deal. Buyers want a deal. If they see something and they're like,
well,
wow.
it's anything. It's anything. It doesn't matter if it's shoes or cars or houses. If you see like, oh, I can buy this laptop, but if I go over to this company and buy the same exact laptop and then I get, a mouse and a McAfee upgrade and whatever, then you're going to go over there because you're getting more value. It's the same thing with housing. I always like to come in at what is appealing, and then you can drive up that price with a bidding war, especially a few months ago when we had so many buyers. It's eased up a bit. And so now it's all about educating our buyers and our sellers to where we are at this moment.
Right. Another thing I think we're going to be seeing now that the market's changing is some of these, I have to be careful how we word this.
Ooh, you got me excited now. What are you going to say?
Commission prices. We all know those are negotiable.
Everything's negotiable.
Everything's negotiable. There's a lot of different pricing out there right now in a market where a home will sell in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Those can look different, more attractive.
Right.
In a market where they're not, there's definitely more marketing, more things that you need to do, more cost involved on all different edges, all different ends of it, and I'm seeing bonuses offered to buyers agents as well.
I'm seeing bonuses. I have builders who are courting me all over again. 6 months ago,
they love
didn't
us
know
again.
They didn't know who I was, but now that I'm getting emails and calls, and why don't you come check this out? And oh, we have these incentives for your buyers, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had one builder that I won't mention their name. I should, because
we're burning bridges over here.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. No, but I had one builder that, a few years ago, I think 2019, I sold like 6 or 7 of their homes, and they're great value, everything. But I've always brought them business just for, the value that they have. Over the last year, they're like, no, we're not paying agents. You can send your buyers that you've been out shopping with or whatever, but we're not paying agents. Your buyers will have to pay you, whatever, all these things. And it's just like, after all the, do you know that this market's not forever going to stay this way? And now they're back like, hey, you're one of our top agents. We want to offer you
bestie.
this. Like,
we missed you, girl. Come back to us.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like, no. But again, if it's value and the buyers, it's
right.
what the buyer's looking for.
Buyer, then it's right for the buyer.
And that's never been something that I've stopped me from showing a buyer a home or whatever.
No,
of course
I've never
we do have to get
stopped.
compensated.
Right. And I've had buyers have to pay because the builder wasn't.
Yeah,
And it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's so annoying. I just want to tell them, like, no, we're done.
Right. I'll be like, I'll take a 5% commission on the next 3 deals to make up for the ones that you didn't pay me on.
Yeah, for sure. They're crazy, right?
Yeah. But
So-
it is another indicator of the market, because last year I went to a builder and they had a model up. They were grading the land. They didn't even have sticks up, and the model was locked, and there was a sales associate inside, and she didn't even open the door. She had the little chain on the thing. She opened the door and stuck her head out. She's like, this community is sold out, and shut the door. I'm like, hello, you don't even have sticks in the air. What is happening?
I think I went there because that same thing happened to me at a community
Yeah.
too. Was it in Henderson?
No, this one was in a Blue Diamond. But,
Wow, they're all trained the same.
Right. Same company, different location. But now, this weekend, I took buyers into 4 new build communities. There were lots available, 2 communities with the builders, because sometimes they build the lot premium and everything right in the price, and then other times it's upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. But it depends upon the builder. But every community I went into, my buyer had the option to purchase in any one of those communities they wanted to, because the market is different.
And what about the builders that were doing multiple offers or bidding options on their homes?
The auction.
Yeah, well, they were every week. There's a certain builder that every week they'd send me a list. Like, we have all these homes that we're releasing this week. The offer price starts at this.
Right.
Make your offers, and we choose the best one. And
Because
I'm
they
like,
were acting like resale sellers, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, our list price is $400, but we really want $500. So what do you got?
what do you got? What are you going to offer on this? Yeah, no, those are crazy. So that's going to stop. And now they're saying, like, hey, we'll pay your buyer's closing cost. How about an interest rate buy down?
Yeah.
So definitely, again, buyers, there's opportunity in this season right here. I know
And
this
there
is
is.
the time where buyers are scared and they're like, no, I'm not going to do anything right now. It's not going to happen. No one knows how long this is going to last.
Right.
What if this only lasts 2 or 3 months and then we start going back into a seller's market again and you miss the boat? Again, it could go the other way, and this could last a year. It could last 2 years. We don't know the time frame, but there is opportunity in the situation we're in right now. And back to what I say all the time: if you can afford the payment, you can afford the house, the terms work for you, and you're not stretching yourself to the top of your limit by any means, and this is what makes sense to you, you can get into a house where the builder pays your closing costs, and you can use, even VA people, 0 down, or use their still down payment assistance programs. Even right now, they're still there.
They're still there.
You can get into something without all that money out of pocket. What are you waiting on? If the market does turn, I know some people will say, I don't want to buy at the top of the market.
Right.
But if the market does turn, what if the top of the market isn't very much at all and your terms are a lot better and no one can predict what or where we're going to be, and markets always adjust themselves.
It's all about the correction. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, that correction, because we are overvalued, especially, like I said, in the Southwest. Many cities around us are the same thing, that they are overvalued. And so that's where we're going to see some sort of adjustment in the market, and those prices are going to come down slightly. I don't think we're going to see a 50% decrease.
No, I think if we do, it's going to be probably ballpark around 10 to 20%.
Yeah,
But
that seems fair.
Just general inflation, cost of living over year, it's going to come back.
Yeah. And so those are some interesting topics. Like, I'm excited, like next week, we're going to have a lender on, because there's things happening. We had touched a couple weeks ago on the adjustable mortgage rate and stuff. So I think that that's going to be helping buyers get into, and we are, it's no longer the 30-year fix. We're seeing those adjustable rates, but they'll also talk to us about, like, some first-time home buying programs or some ways to sort of manipulate the funds to get into properties now.
Yeah, no, those are a thing again.
Yeah.
So
Next week, make sure you tune in to us and if you have questions for our lender, make sure you put those on the website so that way we can get those questions answered for you.
Yes, and we do have a new email for listener questions. So that is Vegas Realty Check, name of our show, at gmail.com. So if you have listener questions, send them to that email. We will be checking it. We will be posting your questions that you have. We're in the season of a rapidly changing market. We have shows come out every Thursday, so we are going to be keeping you updated on what's happening right here in Vegas. I mean, nationwide, things are similar, but not all the same. Vegas is its own little animal in this real estate game. So
it is because we're sort of this booming, growing town, and it's sort of exciting to watch it all.
Yeah. So what we're seeing here may be different than what you're hearing on national news. And what you're hearing on local news, a lot of times they're just based off statistics that were released 30 days ago. We are reporting this every week. So
yeah, all the more reason to like, share, and subscribe to us because we will keep you informed, Vegas.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us here on the show. If you're looking to reach us, Tiana, how do people get a hold of you?
You can always reach me via my handy dandy phone that never leaves my side. Matter of fact, it's in my hand now. 702-379-9948. You can reach me email at 702househunter@gmail.com as well.
All right, and I'm 702-308-2878. You can always message us here on the show, any social media portals that you're watching on, and again, our email, vegasrealtycheck@gmail.com. Have a great day. See you guys next week.
Have a great week, you guys.